Katie Siakui, and I am the Senior Manager of Institutional Partnerships. To me, conservation means the careful protection of resources and also using what we have as efficiently as possible. Yeah, so I am surrounded by plants not only in my home through my outrageous houseplant collection, but also outside in my backyard. I have about 250 square feet of garden space that includes vegetables, fruits, and herbs. A few years ago, I started a plant chat group in our office where we could talk about, issues we were having with our plants, if they're in the right sunlight, and it's kind of a community that's taken off on its own. In a post-COVID world, we've been able to leave clippings for each other in the office or do swaps as a way to stay connected socially despite having to stay distance for our health. Yeah, so in my houseplant collection, my favorite is actually a clipping from my grandmother's Christmas cactus. She had this for decades and could never get it to bloom. And then the year after she passed away, when my mother inherited it, it bloomed for the very first time. I have a clipping from that plant that's at my bedside table. We call it the miracle cactus in our house. So like when you move out of the house, you get a clipping of the miracle cactus. So it's like a little bit of like a rite of passage. So my mom gave me a clipping when we bought our house. It's so cute. And then in my garden, my absolute favorite vegetable is a Berea goose bean, which is a pole bean variety that's native to my hometown in Kentucky and is also sustainable for the Appalachian region. Yeah, so food insecurity is actually the highest in areas of degradation, particularly environmental degradation, that are very susceptible to climate risks and repeated shocks. So some of the interventions we're doing include soil conservation, water conservation, irrigation, really anything in the food system cycle. You can't just work on one piece of conservation without it affecting market access, micronutrient, malnutrition. So conservation work is really key to what WFP is doing to build resiliency in these very high-risk communities. Yeah, the work that WFP is doing in the Sahel is critically important. In the Sahel, there's already so much indigenous, ancestral, and community knowledge around their environment and biodiversity. So WFP is working with the communities in a community-based approach in order to build zai or half-moon pits. What these pits do is they're dug into the ground in a semicircle structure, and they not only help with soil moisture, but also prevent soil erosion in the area. In the past 3 years, WFP has been doing this work. They've preserved about 109,000 hectares of land, and in the last year alone have impacted about 2.5 million people. In the most recent Greening the Sahel report released by WFP in February 2022, it's about 4 pages to give you a summary of what we're talking about. You can actually see in the picture here, this is pre-half moons and this is post-half moons. And through the half moon or zai pits, WFP was able to rehabilitate 51 hectares of land, taking completely barren soil to very productive soil that benefits the local community. So it's now arable and usable for the communities that are there, which also helps promote social cohesion because they're no longer competing over such limited resources.